Well, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Innovate BC. We're here with Trista Pewapisconias. She's joining us from Saskatoon. We're really looking forward to her presentation on Artisan Cooperatives. My name is Michelle. I'm joining from Amiskwaci, Waskagan, so Edmonton, Treaty 6 territory. I think it's really important just to take a moment, press pause, acknowledge, the land in which we live on. Acknowledge creator and the good gifts. So the other day I had an opportunity to go out to Alexander First Nation and harvested some medicine, and just sitting on the land, being outside of the city or in the concrete jungle, it was just really good medicine for the soul and for the spirit. So we just acknowledge, creator, the gift of this day that has been given to us, this opportunity to gather in this virtual community to be able to learn. So we welcome you, we welcome you, we welcome you. In the event you have any questions or comments, feel free to use the chat box during the presentation, and we will have time at the end for any of those good questions. Maybe you have a story or experience to bring to today's conversation as well. So I am jumping right into today's presentation. It is with our beautiful friend Trista. She's joining us from Saskatoon. She is a member of the Little Pine First Nation in Saskatchewan and the Indigenous Relations Lead for Cooperatives First, which she's going to tell us all about. In her role with Cooperatives First, she works alongside community members to form new businesses based on the cooperative model. Her support with business development and planning helps guide groups through the process of starting a successful business. And that's such important work. So her professional experience includes various marketing roles, as well as writing business plans for Indigenous startup companies. I love that. Business plans are sometimes hard to do, so it's always good to, tap into those resources that we have available to us. As a tireless advocate for Indigenous business, Trista is also a founding board member of the Indigenous Chamber of Commerce of Saskatchewan and holds, check it out, an MBA from Edwards School of Business at the University of Saskatchewan. So powerhouse in our midst. We're so honored that you're here. So we're going to learn about the artisan cooperatives. Indigenous communities across Canada are actively pursuing new opportunities to build their economies, retain sovereignty, and incorporate traditional activities in a respectful and meaningful way. So one such industry Indigenous communities have approached these opportunities is through artisan cooperatives. So this can take many shapes and include many different stakeholders and take on any size, depending how artisans want to approach the model. But many use the model to reach larger markets as a group and reduce administrative costs. So she's gonna tell us all about what is happening with her business, and just also share on the cooperative model. I think that this is really important to learn as well. So welcome. So I'm gonna pass this virtual mic over to you, Trista.
Well, thank you for the great introduction. My name is Trista Pewapisconias, and I am the Indigenous Relations Lead for Cooperative First. So I want to acknowledge that I'm calling in from Saskatoon, and I am in the Treaty 6 territory, home of the Cree and the homeland of the Métis people. So I want to thank Cando and the Links to Learning for inviting me to speak. I will share my presentation now. Sorry about that. Okay, so I'll start off with an introduction of who Cooperative First is. Cooperative First is a nonprofit business development organization funded in full by the cooperative retailing system through federated co-ops. We were founded in 2015 by Federated Co-ops Limited and a group of researchers at the University of Saskatchewan. We opened our office in 2016 and have worked on over 100 projects across Western Canada. Our mandate is to promote and support business development based on the co-op business model in rural and Indigenous communities across Western Canada. So, Artisan Co-op. In the past 5 years of operation, Cooperative First has helped a number of Indigenous communities and groups enter into the artisan industry because each community is unique and has diverse resources, wanting different outcomes and missions. A one-size-fits-all approach does not work for Indigenous artisan co-ops. So what are artisan co-ops? They are where people work together to share costs and labor to access new markets. They're created to meet the needs of its members and the needs of consumers. So Indigenous people have a long history of collaboration, even pre-contact, and are used to working together as a collective. So the artisan co-op has been around for hundreds of years. And so the West Baffin Eskimo Cooperative was actually established in 1959 and still continues to operate today. So the image below is like a Facebook post of where, as an example of where people were looking to purchase a number of items. And they were looking for 100 pairs of earrings for sale and in different gift boxes. In this scenario, Co-op would have been a great fit to be able to supply that many earrings in such short amount of time. Also, in the early days of the pandemic, like Facebook was filled with organizations looking for handmade masks when disposable masks were difficult to obtain. So they were looking for artists and creators to come together and be able to fulfill those needs. So the co-op model, Indigenous communities can approach new projects with any business model, whether or not it is a sole proprietorship, corporation, partnership, or even using the co-op model. So those unfamiliar with the concept of co-op, it is a business model that aligns with the structure of a corporation, but as a separate legal entity, members can create the legal liability as a corporate structure, but it really values the one member, one vote. So a co-op is run by a group of people with similar interests who make decisions together, share in the business's profits, make decisions, and come together. So in Western Canada, a co-op is created by 3 or more people. However, in Saskatchewan, a group of 6 is required. It's legally incorporated and can be either for-profit or non-profit. And co-ops operate in almost every sector of the economy. So although the co-ops are much like other businesses, the 2 key differences that make them different are all members have the same amount of decision-making power, and it's not based on how much input, how much money is placed into the co-op. And co-ops give their profits back to the members based on how much the co-op the member uses the business, not how much they invest into it. So what the co-ops can do with like any kind of surplus, instead of going to shareholders, it's also based on how much the members use it that year. So where co-ops fit is when they're formed by the community, when the members of the co-op are working together to collectively gain access to a commodity or undertaking where individuals see the opportunity to work together. Co-ops also come in where businesses and government do not support, and where people benefit working together in a group setting, so then they can and it'll benefit people both individually and community-wide. So accessing new markets or procurement. So co-ops are structured to have the membership share responsibility of the one member, one vote. But benefits can also include benefits within multiple groups. So cooperatives are quite versatile in the way the structure can be used and how profits are distributed. Members receive benefit, on the base, on the use, and not how much capital is put into the co-op. So co-ops have the opportunity to be structured with more community involvement, not having a top-down approach, but having the grassroots people working together to see the benefits. Education and training has also been a big example of how co-ops can learn from each other. People can learn new techniques and grow. Co-ops tend to be more transparent because the members are the owners. So the ones using it will be able to see where the profit is, how the profits are distributed, and how they can work together. The other big benefit is reaching new markets. Instead of being an individual selling your items through like a Facebook, your own personal Facebook page or anything, by creating a new branding strategy and coming together where customers may see more comfortable with coming to a business rather than individuals, and also the monetary benefits of being able to work together and create a new revenue stream for yourself and for also your community members. Working within this industry with a lot of groups over the last few years of being in my role, I've been able to meet a lot of new co-ops and seeing how they work together, and actually hearing stories of like unintended benefits that they did not expect when they started. The first one was safety. So this came about as the members of this one co-op having a storefront really helped them create a central location to meet clients without having strangers come into their home or knowing where they live. The second unintended benefit was competition, becoming allies, being able to work together on projects. Members we had a camaraderie and were able to reduce the amount of undercutting or undervaluing their artwork in order to sell together and not trying to compete against each other. The other unintended benefits were education and learning new techniques. So artisans who had once thought of each other as competition were able to learn from each other, teach new artists and youth on traditional techniques, and also learn new technologies to continue making their projects and create efficiencies in the creation of the artwork. So artisan co-ops can be structured in a variety of ways. So over the next section, I'll cover different ways that artisans have worked together to best suit them. But before I get into the structure, it's deciding what is the best type of co-op for you. So choosing the co-op type is an important step in developing a co-op. So cooperative businesses use a variety of structures to deliver services. Likewise, the right type of co-op model can help you create a strategy for your business, recruit new members, or shareholders. So when choosing the co-op structure, it is important to choose the right one for your situation. So asking yourself and the group these questions will often guide artisans on picking the right type of co-op. So what is the service they will provide? Who will benefit the most? Who will share the profits, and who will make the decisions? So co-ops can be structured. This is a question that I get frequently: is should we structure a for-profit or not-profit? Co-ops could be either. So the primary purpose of a co-op is to act as a tool or to provide a service to members. The difference that is the for-profit co-ops can distribute their profits to members, and non-profit co-ops cannot. So at the end of the year, if the co-op is a for-profit, they can distribute the money back to the artist as a dividend, whereas a non-profit, any additional profit has to go back into the co-op or into a reserve fund, or whether or not it's expansion or new products or services. So some of the co-op structures that has been used is based on how the members want to work together. So the most common structures of artisan co-ops are either supply co-ops, workers co-ops, producer or marketing co-ops. Producer and marketing, the term can be used interchangeably, and multi-stakeholder cooperative. So I will highlight what each of them means. So a supply co-op is just members pooling their money together to bulk purchase materials. It's usually set up as a nonprofit co-op. So just by being able to pool the funds, it brings the prices of the input that you may need, whether or not it's leather or beads or thread, and by purchasing them as a group and then distributing them individually based on their needs, and the members will be able to receive the benefit of not having to pay the most. A worker cooperative are co-ops that are owned and operated by employees. So not every employee of a worker co-op has to be an owner. The business can still hire staff or contract workers. And the worker co-ops actually can be in all industries. Usually it's an alternative to a partnership business model. And they are usually found in consulting agencies, breweries, small retail, manufacturing. But there are examples of worker co-ops. So as an example of a worker co-op, artisans are employees of the co-op, and they receive a wage based on the hours worked. So this model is usually found in where the work is collaborative and more than one artist is working on a project. So the next type of co-op is a producer co-op. And this one is the most common when it comes to artisan co-ops. And they are, generally speaking, independent artists coming together who want to partner and benefit from increased capacity, either through purchasing, administration, marketing, distribution, through a central entity, so the co-op. The benefits of this model is to increase revenues for the members and creating greater market share to access the better market. So with the producer co-op, there are examples of both a nonprofit producer co-op and a for-profit. So in a nonprofit, members sell their products directly to the co-op, directly or through consignment. So the co-op can mark up their prices or take a percentage of the sales to cover costs. The co-op could hire staff or members who want to take turn in volunteering in the sales and administration of the co-op. And in the nonprofit model, the co-op solely acts as just a sales vehicle to get the art to the consumer. In a for-profit producer co-op, members sell same through the co-op, either directly or through consignment. The very similar co-op marks up the prices or takes a percentage, and any additional revenue is distributed as dividends. So this could be seen in the co-op creating like a value-added product. So taking a number of artist work and create gift packs. Or an example would be if the Indigenous subscription box, like coming together as a package and selling it. They have already purchased the artwork from the artisans, but creating this value added would create new revenue, and then these revenues could go back to the artist as a dividend. So the last structure that I will go through today is the multi-stakeholder co-op. These are formed when there are different interest groups that would benefit it being included into the co-op. So not all provinces make it easy to start multi-stakeholder co-ops. Saskatchewan, for example, does not have the provisions for multi-stakeholder co-ops in its co-op act, but will allow groups to file an appeal. So this is when co-ops are owned by more than one type of membership class. So this is when consumers, producers, workers, community supporters, or other organizations want to work together to create a co-op and take to secure the supply chain of the art. Okay, so now that I've kind of gone over the the dry part, I will give you examples. So these are real life examples of co-ops that I've been aware of, that I've researched, or one in particular, I actually was with them from the start. So I'm really excited to see them. And yeah, so here are examples of how community members wanted to come together to sell their artwork. So the first one, I apologize, I am not a fluent Cree speaker. So it's the Opal Arts Marketing Cooperative. So this cooperative assists artisans of the Big River First Nation in Saskatchewan market their art. It was established in 2008, and it sought to create work so members can supplement their family income. The co-op sells a variety of items such as hand-sewn vests, wood carvings, moccasins and gloves, jewelry, paintings, and many more items. The members of this co-op actually take advantage of the bulk purchasing, and the members will purchase together once a year to lower the input costs for the individual members. And at last count, they had 20 active members. The next example I have is the Northern Star Workers Cooperative. So in the early 1990s, a group of First Nations and Métis women gathered together at a local resource center to sew and create both traditional and contemporary items as a way to socialize. Before long, the women had developed a collaborative workplace that they could help each other with their projects and communally hone their craft. So the women created pillow shams, oven mitts, tote bags, and parkas. However, like the demand for the star blankets was overwhelming. So as the interest grew in the blankets, they wanted a way to ramp up their production. So knowing that they wanted to incorporate as a collaborative approach into the fibers of the business, they sought to find a structure that reflected their values. And they found that a co-op best suited their goals. So as a worker co-op, the members are the women who sew the product. Guided that collaborative spirit, the members prioritize the relationships with their customer supplier in the greater Winnipeg area. These items are sold online through their store at the Northern Star Blankets .wordpress.com. The next example I have is Dorset Fine Art. This is a marketing or producer co-op where individual producers work together just as a single source of sales to market, share resources, administration duties, and costs to access the larger market. So it was established in 1978 as a wholesale marketing division of the West Baffin Eskimo Cooperative that I had mentioned earlier. And they have, this cooperative has, it uses it to market the sculptures, drawings, paintings, and sell through the single source of the Dorset Fine Art. Sales and exhibition of the artwork is in Toronto, but also it sells to galleries worldwide. So the next example I have is back when we were able to travel frequently, Cooperative First had a program called the Backroad Diaries. We would travel to different communities to highlight existing co-ops. We are fortunate to visit the Aboriginal Designers Co-op in Winnipeg. So please enjoy the profile of the Aboriginal Designers Co-op.
Hello, my name is Trista Pewapisconias, and this is the series where I tell stories of Western Canada through its communities and their co-ops. Welcome to the Backroad Diaries. Today I'm in Winnipeg, Manitoba, where I got to visit the Aboriginal Designers Co-op. Now, this is a co-op where the members are actually designers, and they can use their space to design, collaborate, display, and sell their art. I got a chance to talk to Iris, one of the 4 members of the co-op, about the Aboriginal community in Winnipeg.
The Aboriginal community here in Winnipeg is pretty close. I think we all know what's going on, and everybody knows about Nietzsche Commons closing.
Nietzsche Commons closing. Now, if you're wondering, Nietzsche Commons was a supermarket / restaurant / gift shop that made up most of the building that the Aboriginal Designers Co-op spaces in, but due to financial difficulties in July 2018, they closed down. But that didn't stop the members of the co-op, including Iris, from doing what they love.
Some work I did for Murray Sinclair when he became senator. He asked for a tailored jacket with beadwork to represent his clan and his colors and that. So I designed a beaded beadwork specifically just for him.
It's nice to see places like the Aboriginal Designers Co-op, and despite Nietzsche closing, they're still a beacon of creativity in Winnipeg.
Let's try this.
Wow. This is Fox.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. This feels so nice.
This part down. You look stunned, and it probably fits you better than me.
Heck yeah. How's the back feel?
No, I love the pattern on the back.
I feel like an evil villain.
So unfortunately, due to the closure of Nietzsche Commons and the building, the Aboriginal Designers Co-op is no longer in this location, and we're unable to get an update of where they're operating. So I wanted to highlight this one. This one is actually not a Canadian example, but it is one that I was very fortunate to meet the members of. So this is the Ancestral Rich Treasures of Zuni Cooperative in Zuni Pueblo, New Mexico. And known as the Arts Cooperative. So the Arts Cooperative has a gallery where the public can make purchases, showcase their art, but they also have an online store. So the website is listed on the slide here. And it is created to give back the power to the artist. It is the only Pueblo artist-owned and operated cooperative in New Mexico, and they came together to combat the competitiveness of the artists within their territory, and to work together so that way they're not undercutting each other's prices and working together as in a sole location. So this co-op, how they are structured is they do have a manager who is an artist and a member. But however, the manager receives, they work on a percentage basis. So it is the payment for the manager is they receive a bigger percentage back than the other members, and so that's their wages on the sale of their artwork. And so the manager is in charge of the administration, the coordinating of artists, and quality control. Artist members also take turns in working in the gallery as part of their member dues. So the last example I have in this slide deck is the Nehiyawaski Indigenous Peoples Arts Co-op. This one is one that I'm really proud to have been able to work on. And so I'm trying not to play favorites, but this one holds a good place in my heart. So in this small community of Lac La Biche in northeastern Alberta, it's a major historic site and considered one of the oldest fur trading outposts in Alberta. And the town is home to like some of the oldest still standing buildings in the province that are more than 150 years old. So historically, Lac La Biche was a place for trade and gathering for First Nations, Métis, and French Canadians, and was chosen as a National Historic Site for its rich cultural significance. So the celebration of culture and history is still championed to this day at the local Portage College. So for more than 50 years, Portage College has provided important training and education to the community, including incredible art programs. So art students study traditional Indigenous artwork like hide tanning, carving, sewing, footwear, beadwork, and decorative art. And while honing these artistic traditions, students learn from the entrepreneurial skills they need to price and sell their work. However, students didn't have a way to sell their artwork, and they created in the program. So they had the skills to price and market the work, but no established venue to do so. So this is a barrier for this students' blossoming careers. So the college understood that this is an issue and wanted students to have as much value from their courses as possible. But due to policy, the Portage College couldn't get involved in a student-centric business. So members of the college began conversation with the government of Alberta. And the government was unhappy with the number of inauthentic pieces of artwork that had flooded markets and shops throughout the province, and wanted more Indigenous artists to fill the market instead. So the leaders of the Portage College knew there was an opportunity and potentially a solution to like everybody's problem. So the solution was to create an arts co-op that could get quality artwork created by the students and to buyers in markets and shops across the province. So before long, the Nehiyawaski Indigenous People Art Co-op was created with the support and partnership of the students, the local Friendship Center, Métis Crossing, and the University of Alberta gift shop. So with this multi-tiered membership model made of artists, institutions, and businesses where the artwork sells, the Nehiyawaski Indigenous Peoples Art Co-op ensures that each group has a say in the operation. And as a separate business, the co-op also ensures that Portage College remains outside of the student business. So when considering a co-op, it's important to discuss the membership. So who should be part of it? Who will receive benefit? And how will decisions be made? So there are many considerations, and for these, we'd recommend the following steps. So identifying the opportunity. What do you want to sell? Who are the members and what are their roles? Engaging people who want to work together, and making sure that they are as enthusiastic about the project as possible, and ensuring members understand their roles and responsibilities when working together, and contacting cooperatives first. That's my job, is to make sure that all the ingredients are there, and that we can get you started early and on the right foot. So what does Cooperative First do? So if there's an idea and there's a group of people, we help hear the conversation. We will facilitate discussions on the potential and the project and where it could go. We share knowledge and expertise of the COP legislation and requirements. We also have support with awareness of the model, structures of the co-op, governance, incorporation. So we do help groups go through the incorporation paperwork and bylaws, and making sure that any co-op that's set up by through our help will reflect the values of the members. We want to ensure that once the co-op is set up, that the members have the ownership of the co-op, and it's not created on how we think it should be run. It's what works best for the group. And for groups that require, we can support business plans. So just depending on the needs of the co-op, we can help with different types of business support. So I want to thank you for attending today's presentation. So if you have any further questions or would like to discuss any projects, feel free to reach out to me and we could have a one-on-one discussion. And also, I'd like to encourage anyone, so if you're just here to learn about co-ops in general, or if you have any questions, we do have a website called yourwaytogether.ca. And you can use that to sign up for our next webinar on September 23rd on agriculture cooperative. So once again, thank you. And if there are any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Trista. You really laid out, some of the values of why a cooperative is so important. I actually, when I was watching that video of that cooperative in Winnipeg, I was like, I was there many moons ago. And I always joke that I'm a better buyer than beater. I always love supporting local artisans. And so I was in that building, and I was just surrounded by such amazing and creative artwork. I spend way too much money, but I really think that it's an opportunity for artisans to sell their craft, to collaborate, partner. You talked about I think it was the star blankets, the Aboriginal. Oh, wait a minute. I wrote their name down because I want to look them up. North Star Worker Cooperative. When you talked about them, you talked about how they really came together to socialize and share stories, and I think creativity flows from that as well when we gather together and we listen to one another. So many benefits. So thank you for sharing. I appreciate always the stories that come with it. I know the other information is really integral. It's a really foundational, really important to know. So thank you for bringing that to the table today. But Betty, you're here. I don't know if you have any comments or questions, and you can even use the chat box as well. just an opportunity for you to, lend your voice to this discussion if you want. No pressure at all.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the presentation. Thank you for the examples, especially just because it makes larger projects seem more realistic, especially when you see your own people doing it. So it was really enlightening, I'd like to say. And it's something I'd look forward to in the future, just because well, my sister and I had a business called Niche Moves Novelties, and we sold art cards, and we were hoping to expand it to something larger. But it's kind of like a side hustle right now. I guess growing my own artwork is the first step, but I also want to know how to manage it in the future too. So thank you.
Thank you for lending your voice to this conversation, and good luck to you and your business, your side hustle. Those side hustles, especially in this time of COVID, they have been, for me anyways, realizing that they've been really life-giving, sustaining our own economy as Indigenous people. So good luck and all the best to your side hustles there. That's awesome. So Trista, so if anyone was of interest, they would contact you. You had left your email there. They just contact you, and you would have conversation and kind of show them the direction of what they need to do, some of the next steps. So you're the go-to gal. It sounds like you have a really good job. Really good. So interesting and so fascinating to be around all of those entrepreneurs and those ideas.
Yes, I love my job, and it's like I'm really fortunate to meet so many creative people and seeing how working together is so important, but also with the I think especially with the co-op the co-op model, and having all the members be owners, like they are owners of the business. So the transparency is there. So being able to see how the profit is being used, how it's distributed, making the decisions on the direction of the business, and being able to work together with basically your allies, making competition become your allies. I think that unintended benefit, but that statement has been shared so much with all these co-ops that I've been working with and all the artists, is now seeing people more as friends and creating that community rather than, well, I'll sell my stuff at cost, but really who's benefiting? Like it's yeah. So creating a win-win for everybody.
So important. I love that, creating that. Yes, I think that's so important. So thank you so much, Trista. It was good to see you again. I had the privilege of listening to her presentation, I think a couple months ago. So it was good to see you again. Thank you for lending your time. Like I said, you got an amazing job, amazing opportunities just to be with these artisans and, lend your expertise, lend your advice, and help them to guide them as they're on their journey. So I think that is awesome. So thank you for the work that you do. Thank you all for joining us this afternoon. I hope you have an opportunity to go out onto the land, just take a moment, breathe in that good fresh air, acknowledge, the beauty of this day. So thank you for joining us. May you walk in a good way. Honor yourself, your spirit, honor the land, the circle, those around you, and honor Creator. Have a great day, everyone. Till next time. Peace.
See you.
Bye.